Welcome, everybody, to the Genesis Mindset. And in today's episode, short one, but Atropa pDAI, Teddy Bear, they're all back. They win Pulsechain. For me, now it's become clearer now more than ever that Atropa runs this blockchain. Atropa runs Pulsechain. It's totally dominating the liquidity flows. It's very, very clearly shown in the charts. And now we've shown this massive rebound strength as funds from pump.tires have cycled back into the tokens with longevity. So obviously pDAI, for example, and as pDAI pumps, it's pumping the whole thing. And then one of the premier meme coins, Teddy Bear, also pumped nearly 50% today. So really seeing the clear signs of the liquidity domination of the Pulsechain by the Atropa holders, the Atropa and pDAI holders. This is very, very significant. It shows the power that they have and the power and the liquidity that they have. So they're dominating the flows between these two. So obviously now this is Richard Heart's newest meme ecosystem, and all the Richard Heart, or quote unquote Richard Heart launch tokens, have captured the imagination of maxis. But Atropa has basically gone in there, taken that liquidity and brought it back into the Atropa ecosystem. So this is really, really very bullish. Can it also bring those eyeballs to the Atropa ecosystem? This will be very interesting. So either way, what we see is that Atropa holders now basically begun to dominate the pump.tires liquidity flows, as we can see that it's all cycled back. So also today, some interesting Atropa lore and a theory. So a theory that I saw, which really eloquently put forward something that I found. I'll show it to you. It's very, very interesting from Hexucation. So I really liked that theory. It made a lot of sense to me. So some people might not like this, but back to these charts. I'll tell you why I went back to these charts. For now, let's just bear with it. So to be perfectly honest, most of the people that are going to be watching this are going to be watching this during the day. So Europe is in the afternoon. America is just waking up. So let's see what this means. Actually, I got distracted by this comment here. This 7 days comment. So Puffy. See, good morning, Techno Bubble. Yeah. Babble, sorry. Blue charts, calm. I just miss him. I miss him. I clicked on an old video link, and I'll show you why I clicked on an old video link. And yeah, for me, I just prefer this to the black. And everybody's got the black. This was like my thing, this calm blue. So I like it. I'm going back to the calm blue. So yeah, I'm sure people aren't going to stop watching because of that, but at least it's something that I feel at least is my signature. I've compromised because everything else is black. So I hope you didn't act on that bearish sentiment from a day ago. Correction was small. Goes to show how unfazed the community is. Yeah, I also hope nobody acted on that. I was basically saying I wasn't going to be acting on that, and I was deterring. Well, I mean, I was just presenting the information there. If people wanted to act on that, that was their choice, obviously. But for me, it was pretty clear that the risk was too high and the liquidity flows were too clear. So pump, Atropa, PTGC, community unite. And AOKG, yeah, you know what? I say Teddy Bear is the premier meme coin, and I still love Teddy Bear. And Teddy Bear has the most holders, but I think in terms of price performance, I think it's going to be very, very hard to beat PTGC because of the way that the fundamentals are designed there. So good evening, Robin Bright Wisdom. If you want to learn Korean, go to Robin Bright Wisdom's channel. Very, very good channel to learn Korean. So my Hex and Atropa move up and down together. I don't know how or why, but they are always equal for me. Yeah, because it's liquidity bonded, bro. So don't kill me with anticipation. We'll get there, sir. We'll get there. Good afternoon. Bought more on the dip. Nice. I acted quick and brought it all back. 20x the Don vid, man. That's the thing. That's what you got to do. It's like we're in a position now in the bull market where you've just got to act fast. You got to start thinking like a whale. What are the whales going to do? The whales aren't waiting for somebody else to show them which direction the chart is going to go. The whales are moving the direction of the chart in the direction that they want it to go. So really starting to think like a whale. So congratulations, the Don. So the Don will just... The Don dominates. The Don dominates the Atropa ecosystem and now probably all of the pump tires. So yeah, let's take a look across the board. Very, very simple. Liquidity is flowing back into the core tickers. So this thesis that it would flow back into Atropa pDAI, all of these tokens is proven to be true. So it's very clear when you compare the analysis here. So we have this 1, 2, 3 down, then an up, and this is continuing up. We had 1, 2, 3 up, and then a down, and then this is a slight up. But to be perfectly honest, I wouldn't consider this to be now it's back on track on bullish momentum. I consider this to be like sideways, a fizzle out, then it's going to pump again. Maybe that's what this 7 days is. So the 7 days, the whole 7 days with the hex. So this whole enigma around the hex staking. So E hex and P hex were staked by the, not the origin address. It was the, oh my gosh, sacrifice. Was it the origin address or the sacrifice funds? I think it was the origin address, actually. My mistake. So the OA staked for 7 days, E hex and P hex. So 250 billion E hex and P hex. So we'll get into that a little bit later. So what is this 7 days? Perhaps the 7 days is when this is going to pump again. Who knows? Give it a week. That's usually when these things will start to take off. They'll chill out for a bit, or maybe not a week. But in any case, we saw this yesterday where it was red, and during the stream, it started to form green. So it started to form green, and now it looks like it's going to continue to be bullish. Again, I'm not saying that, oh, now it's going to go straight to $1. I'm not saying that. I'm just showing, it's pretty clear that the people who dominated this are the ones who are dominating the Atropa and pDAI ecosystem, because all of Atropa and pDAI has done exactly the same as this. So it's all flowed back into the system. So this is a 27.5% bounce on the daily candles. So a nice big candle there. And obviously the day before, we had a 44%. So from the bottom in the last 2 days, over 50%. So very, very bullish. And so if we look across the whole chain, yeah, I mean, it's become pretty self-evident to me. I've wanted to be as agnostic as possible, but look at the start in the old days when I was researching this, it was an inverse correlation, but now the correlation has become very, very clearly bonded, very, very clearly. So you can see it when you put them side by side here. With basically this is the day, so 30th. And then we got, where's the 31st? The 31st is like up here. So basically, no. Because this is a Atropa and pDAI. This is not a Atropa and Pulsechain, but it'll essentially show the same thing. I think it will basically have this big down wick. But as this went down, but you can see here, obviously. So then really it's like, at this point, if you're stuck on being a maxi, it's a very, very difficult position to be in, because it's almost like if you sell out of all your coins now, you've held on for so long, for a year and a half, where everything on the chain is outpacing you. Literally everything on the chain is outpacing you by ratio. It would suck that if you swapped out now and it just had this mega run, you would be spitting chips. You would absolutely be hating it. So it would be very hard to be a maxi and be in that position. So I really, really feel sorry for maxis. But boy, what a losing position it's been to be a maxi. Like it's just golden day after golden day for the Atropa ecosystem. So the Atropa dominates the chain. So across the board, again, like this, the thesis is continuing to play out. Down is continuing to dump, which is pumping the whole ecosystem. Yeah, we had a big sell-off here. No problem. That all went into most. That all went into pump. That all went into the Richard Art memes, but then it came straight back again. Is it going to continue? I'm not too sure. I still do believe we could see something like this. Oh, maybe it's not going to be that dramatic, but just in principle, it's going to go up and then it's going to sell out again. And then it's going to go back into those memes. Maybe after 7 days, go back into those memes. They're going to pump. This is going to sell down and then they're going to pump up. And then from there, I think what's going to happen is it's going to be a similar scenario to what's happened with Atropa and Pulsechain, where at the start there was an inverse correlation, and then after a certain period of time, they became thoroughly bonded. So wherever Atropa went, Pulsechain went. Wherever Pulsechain went, Atropa went. So they become thoroughly bonded. So I think that that's going to end up happening possibly with these charts and the meme charts, the meme dies, because if you look at the ratios, there's something going on with the ratios. So this is pump and most. I'll get into these ratios a little bit more after, but the meme die and pDAI, so pDAI is second. So at the moment, pDAI's got all the strength, but let's see if it exists within this ratio. And if it exists within this ratio, you could do some pretty serious damage. And then the amount, essentially the amount of liquidity from pDAI that can pump the absolute crap out of the meme die, it's not going to be a lot. It's not going to be a lot because it's a billion supply for meme die and there's 20 billion supply for this. So there's a hell of a lot more liquidity in meme die, so in pDAI than there is in meme die. So in other words, what does that actually mean? What that means is the amount of damage that it does on this chart is not significant to the amount of pump that it can create in this chart. So, if you think about this chart, it did a 10x or approximately a 10x from the bottom. Well, really 26x. But, it would have depended how much liquidity was actually in this liquidity pool in order for it to really pump. There probably wouldn't have been much until about this point. So let's be conservative. Let's say it did a 10x. So it did a 10x and pDAI in that same period of time only dropped 30 or 40%. So the amount of liquidity in this system with a market cap of 287 million and the other one has a market cap of 1.5 million, I really do feel the market makers are going to want to continue to scoop up supply and they're going to start selling this down, really possibly causing some kind of capitulation here. I don't know. It did touch that 8 cents, so I was very happy. I didn't do anything about it, but I was happy that I was able to see it and it came true. Whether or not that means that I can predict this, I don't know. I'm just trying to see what's going to happen in liquidity flows and start to think like a whale. How's a whale actually thinking? So, okay, so that's what I do think that's going to happen because again, a little drop in this, even though it's substantial and it might hurt in the short term, but think about it now from the bigger perspective. The bigger perspective is I get a feeling of safety now that the people who dominate the supply in those Richard Hart meme coins are now back in the Atropa ecosystem. So they can just rotate liquidity between the two. And a small drop in this is a big dump in that. So then they can get a big pump in that, bring more people into there, suck out more liquidity out there, put it into Atropa and Pulsechain, Atropa pDAI. I mean, it's PvP now. It's PvP. This is what crypto is. It's the sad reality of crypto. So yeah, very, very strong bounce. And look at Teddy Bear. Teddy Bear, what a beautiful, beautiful specimen Teddy Bear is. So yeah, Teddy Bear for me still is like the number one meme coin. I just love it. I think it just has so much opportunity. 50% pump. It really respected this, but this is only to Pulsechain. This is to the US dollar. You really need to measure it to Pulsechain. And so if we measure it to Pulsechain, yeah, dark charts, is it better? Dark charts. You know what? Can I make like a little, sorry. I want to see if I can make a little, I don't know if I can do that. I think I need to be on my YouTube channel to actually create some kind of a poll. Because I'd love to, I'd be curious. Even on Pulsechain, it dipped there. I'd be curious if people prefer dark or blue. I mean, blue was it was just my thing. And as I'm looking at the screen here, I can feel it on my eyes. It's it's more intense on my eyes, but I don't know. It's just nicer. And this is like a morning show for people in USA, for people in people in Europe, it's afternoon. For people in Australia, it's nighttime. So Asia and Australia. So people bought more during the dip. Good stuff. What's going on here? Teddy did pump the most. It makes the most. Exactly. Hey, Matty, what's going on, brother? Matty, we should... I put the links in the description, but I stopped putting the links in the description because people weren't joining. But I would love for people to come up here and have a yarn with me. It makes it more entertaining when there's more people up here. And it doesn't have to be a long show, just like an hour, 2 hours. You can just have a yarn. Even if you're just in the morning having a coffee, you don't have to stick around for the whole 2 hours. Just jump on, say good day, see what's going on. I'd like to get your opinion. Other people, the Don doesn't want to get on the YouTube. The Don doesn't want to get on the YouTube, which is such a shame. But even the other guys in the chat here, if you guys just want to come in, if you got YouTube channels and you want to promote your YouTube channels, like Coexistence Steven accepts all. So you can come in here. I don't care who you are. You don't have to have a camera. Obviously, I haven't left a link in the description, but it just makes it more dynamic when there's other people to talk with and interact with. It just makes it more interesting, in my opinion, because then at least we can bounce ideas off each other as well. So, okay, I'm going to go into HotX and Hex in a minute. So, yeah, I mean, BFF, that Deloitte, sadly, hasn't really had the rebound, but Atropa, Teddy Bear, pDAI have really had the rebound. And of course, the Atropa ecosystem has hundreds and hundreds of tokens. So not all of them have rebounded, but the main ones have. So the core ones have. So this is the important part. So it's really dominating the blockchain. So across the board now, just going across the meme, it's very clear. They're all exactly the same. They're all exactly the same. So for me, it's like, pick one and go with it. Doesn't matter what it is, in my opinion. I mean, you could go with the cheapest one, the lowest market cap ones, which would be probably like XRP. Looks to be XRP. Hang on. I just got to make sure that 215K or 219K rather. And is that okay? It's still 219K. This is the only problem with the blue. I mean, the black is still nice, but I don't know. Anyway, was Pulsechain? Oh, it was the Pulsechain SAC wallet. That's right. Okay, so it wasn't the origin address. So okay, we're going to get into that in just a minute. The hex. We're going to get into that. Is that just now? Okay, just now. So yeah, I wanted to show this. So this to me is very clear. Obviously, yeah, this is a green candle and this is a green candle, but still, these four candles here shows the power dynamics now. The power dynamics, that the power is now in the hands of the Atropa ecosystem, which is what I want to see, because I've got my eyes on the Atropa ecosystem. So it's going to help me if I see some kind of a big red dip here. I'm going to know, or indications of a big red dip here. I'm going to know. It's probably a good time to get into those pump tires, because I know that the people that dominated this and created this 70% drop are dominating the Atropa ecosystem. So people like the Don here. So yeah, Don, let us know when you sell, brother. So Hex now, there was a massive candle on the Hex chart. So eHex had a gigantic 65% pump today because the Sacrifice wallet staked 250 billion hex, and he had to stake 50 billion hex at a time. So when you stake 50 billion is the max amount that you can stake, and there's like a little Easter egg there when you do the stake. It says whoa, because it's like it's pretty cool. And basically the last time that, I mean, if we assume that the OA is the same as the Sacrifice wallet, the last time that the benevolent actor, that is the OA/Sacrifice wallet, who people assume is Richard Hart, the last time he did that was around Big Payday. And so just around Big Payday, he did it for 1 day. So basically dominated the inflation rate. So then there wouldn't be a huge dump on Big Payday. And from there was forever upside. Well, not forever upside, because we've had some massive dumps, but basically it was just that was the moment where it just pump. So could this be a signal to the market? But the fact that it was 7 days, not 1 day, so it makes T-shares more expensive. It's diluting it's monopolizing the inflation rather, because now he's taking a lot of that inflation. Those wallets are taking a lot of that inflation. So now there's less sell pressure on the markets from the people whose stakes end. So maybe there's lots of stakes that are ending soon or something like this. I'm not too sure. But in any case, it was a big move. And could it be a sign of, the Sacrifice wallet saying, all right, I can do things and I'm going to do things. And here's me doing things. And what does it mean? We like to read these things. Who knows? It was 7 days. Does that mean anything? Who knows? Let's actually see. Who knows? Maybe he's going to use the yield to start pumping some of these tokens. Wouldn't that be absolutely goated? Wouldn't that be delicious, actually? So, all right. So then we have obviously HotX. So yeah, the sentiment around this, when I see this, I'm like, beautiful, beautiful. I can buy. I can buy. We've had a 40% dip. There was no significant dip. Now there's been a significant dip thanks to this pump. So there was a big dip already because obviously of the liquidity bonding, and then we had the big dump because of EHEX, and then a little rebound here. So yeah, you could be looking at this going, oh shoot, I got screwed over, it's dumped. Or you could be looking at this going, hey, this is a nice opportunity. And particularly if you're a liquidity provider for EHEX and HOTEX, maybe you're laughing, but I don't think that's where the opportunity lies as a liquidity provider for EHEX. This is one that continuously gets shielded to me by my boy Muddy, and I'm seeing it more and more on X now as well. I mean, this is some insane yield, 126%. There's only 228K in liquidity, 1.6 million volume. That is insane. What a beautiful, amazing, awesome liquidity pool this is. So this is a V2 liquidity pool. So he's just cleaned up. So basically, like, you're just sitting on plus right now. You're not, impermanent loss means nothing now. Like they're moving basically together up and to the right. They might move at slightly different rates. Today, EHEX moves 60%. Maybe Pulsechain only move 5%. So what? You're getting plus on both sides. So if you'd put in over here, so basically my boy Muddy put in, I can't remember where he put in, but let's say it was about 6 months ago, and he's got plus on both tokens. So there is no impermanent loss. It's just permanent gains. So the game on Pulsechain is liquidity. Richard wants to make this the most liquid chain on the planet. This was one of his big goals. So this to me is a good opportunity. A very good opportunity. This is what I'm interested in. Where are the opportunities? Obviously, this is something that I've started to explore last week, Fed and Treasury bill. I was showing it the other way around where I inverted it, but I guess it's the same thing. So at the minute, basically, it's about buying the Fed. And then when it's above, then you would mint the Treasury bill or you would burn the Treasury bill to mint Fed, and then you would sell Fed. And we have no idea how this is going to happen. Don't ever forget the fact that Maria, one particular day, perhaps it was one of these days here, or maybe it was this day here, like minted, or could it have been this day here? I think it might have been this day. I can't remember. But he minted 7 billion Treasury bill, and basically set up this ecosystem. So he could do that again. He could mint 7 billion and then just buy the crap out of Treasury bill, Fed, and then bring the ratio back up very, very easily, and then just burn the rest of his supply. So with the supply, that was 134, I think it was 134 billion for Treasury bill, and then like 123 billion tokens. Those tokens got burned because they got sent to the contract address for the Fed. So the Fed's contract address, whatever that is, will I have it here? When you go, okay, copy this contract address, copy Fed contract address. Those 123 billion tokens were sent to that contract address. That means those tokens now are off the market. So the supply is still there, but it's now like an origin address feature where those tokens can never be bought. They can never be sold. They can never be dumped on the market. So that supply is forever burnt. So that's a bullish thing for Treasury bills. So these are the kinds of little things that are happening with the Atropa ecosystem that it's always interesting to keep your eyes on, see what's actually going on. So I'm trying to keep my mind in tune with the biggest things that are happening at the moment. And obviously with the Hex dump today, this to me is like the biggest opportunity as like a yield generating option for your EHEX. But then also we have this one. So yeah, this one is probably a safer one. This one is a more interesting one for me because you can get more gains out of it. But this one is definitely safer. You just put it in there and you don't have to think about it. So yeah, they're both pretty good. So, and then obviously Maria's still building a whole ecosystem around this. So there's going to be something happening with all of this stuff. Put it that way. That's my feel towards it. So he's building out for it. It was one of the first 20 tokens. So yeah, let's not. For me, I'm not forgetting about what's actually happening. Those are the interesting things for me. So, kind of move past this a little bit now, but yeah, this was the ratios for the pump fund ratios. So yeah, this was pDAI and the pump.tires, meme pDAI and meme DAI. So at the moment, as I was mentioning before, and then this seems like it's respected. So this is most most and pump. So yeah, if you're sitting in your most and pump, you could I mean, this is since the 4th of Feb. So pretty much since it's dumped, it's now people have been ratio trading between this region, their pump and their most. So you could sit amongst if you're sitting on just profit. So you've taken your initials out of your pump and most. This here is an interesting opportunity. You might end up getting left with, I mean, if you're the way that I look at it, it's like, okay, well, if I am now sitting on free tokens in most, free token in pump, what difference does it make? If I end up swapping all my most into sorry, so if it was here, you'd swap all your you would buy pump with your most. But if it continues to drop, it's like, oh well, I've just got more pump now. So what? They're both going to pump anyway. What? One's going to do 60x and one's going to do 70x. Like, really? Does it matter? No. But at the same time, you could also do that. And before we even get that big send-off pump, you could basically like double your bags on either side just from a few little cheeky little swaps. So, and then you're really multiplying your gains a lot more. So for me, it's like the pros outside the cons on something like this, in my opinion. So especially if you're sitting on free tokens. And what I mean by free tokens is you've taken your initials out. So, all right. This, to me, was a very, very interesting theory. I'm not going to go through the whole theory. It was just one particular part that really struck me. So this is XUSD. I thought this was absolutely brilliant. It really, it aligned with my thinking, but it was put in a way that it just made it more clear in my own mind. So so James Osborne is also the creator of Atropa, and one of the things he mentioned in one of his talks is that Atropa would be necessary in creating the stability for pDAI's $1 targets. So my thinking is this: when I originally designed XUSD, so XUSD is basically a hex education platform where you connect your wallet, and it's like a multi-level marketing. I don't know if multi-level marketing is the correct word. Actually, it's like a network marketing rather, not multi. It could be multi-level. I'm not too sure, but it's like a network marketing where basically, you onboard users, and then if they onboard users to learn. So basically, you'll connect your wallet, you'll pay to learn about Hex through this platform. It's like a very small fee. But then if they bring people, then you're getting a portion of that. And it's like that. So it's like network marketing. So I thought it was quite a clever idea. So when I originally designed XUSD, I realized that in order for it to make money for everyone involved, the project could not rely solely on buying crypto because crypto are constantly going up and down. This means the value of crypto could be less than you bought it for. That equals zero profit. So I soon realized that XUSD needed an engine to create money inflow. That's the affiliate sales aspect of the project. So that's the network marketing aspect. All of that got me thinking, what if the end game of Atropa combined with the other associated projects, for example, Dysnomia and Affection, is that all of those projects combined, including all of the cryptos that are part of those projects, contribute towards a system that balances or self-stabilizes the prices of the cryptos, or at least some of them within their ecosystem. pDAI could also be one of those cryptos. I'm not saying I'm right, just my most recent thoughts on the evolving Atropa project, which I intend to keep on researching. Oh, and a special thanks to myself. Thank you very much, XUSD and St. Wolf. I asked Mr. St. Wolf, please make part 2 of the Atropa is Wall Street video. It was brilliant. It was brilliant. I don't know how you do your videos, man. The quality is just... even your live streams, it's like, man, you got some serious quality going with your videos. It's like, it's next level, bro. So please, Atropa Wall Street 2, because Atropa Wall Street 1 was like mind blowing. If anyone hasn't seen that, I would definitely recommend going to watch that. So this was the part that interested me the most. What if the end game of Atropa combined with the other associated projects is that all of those projects combined, including all of the cryptos that are part of those projects, contribute towards a system that balances or self-stabilizes the prices of the cryptos, or at least some of them within their ecosystem? pDAI could also be one of those cryptos. So when I start to see things like this, when I start to see these ratios forming between a meme coin and a utility meme coin like pDAI, when I start to see ratios forming like this, when I start to see the diversity of ratios within the Atropa ecosystem, hundreds of tokens, some, again, I've shown many times, some, go back and watch some of my old videos. Like I'm almost thinking I'm going to go back and watch some of my old videos, to be perfectly honest, just to see, like, what have I learned since then? What was I right about since then? Seeing how some of those charts are deliberately designed. This has been the big fudding point of the Atropa ecosystem. It's like, oh, Maria dumped on us, but that's your fault. You bought the token without knowing what was going on. If you just buy a token because it launches, you're thinking of the old mindset. This is the problem. This is where the Tang Gang have created all this FUD around the Atropa ecosystem. It comes purely from a lack of understanding. Some of these tokens are really not meant to be bought and owned. And actually, well, to be perfectly honest, actually, I mean, the whole system is designed to suck liquidity into itself to sustain itself. So actually, some of those tokens, maybe he doesn't want you to buy them, but people do buy them. So then it just gets sucked into the black hole that is the Atropa liquidity system. So it like Atropa is something that can just continue to grow and grow. So under all conditions. So it really makes me think, like, when you have these ratios where this token is bonded with this one and it's deliberately designed so this one goes up like this and this one goes like this, and then you have another token where they're designed where they're supposed to be side by side like this, and you have another one where they're designed to go like this. There's a design to it. There's ratios to it. There's proportions to it. There's mathematics to it. There's a harmony to it. There's a symphony to it. And so there's a totality to it. That's the interesting part. So when I'm thinking about this and I'm thinking about this concept of a truly decentralized financial system, and one of the big fudding points, for example, for pDAI, which still plagues my mind, is in all of cryptocurrency, no matter what, you need liquidity in the system. So it's like, oh yeah, we've got all these billions and billions of dollars, but if there's like, you've got this market cap of billions of dollars, but there's only like $10 million in the system, and that gets pulled out, then there wasn't that's why market cap's a fake metric. But if you have all of these tokens where there's all this fake liquidity, and somehow the symphony between them, the tension between them creates like an ebb and flow where, yeah, the pump fund, the pump.tires tokens go like this. And then, yeah, the Atropa tokens go like this, but somewhere, somehow they're getting locked into such a state where if this ends up dumping in such a huge amount, then maybe that's going to end up pumping the Atropa ecosystem in some kind of a way, maybe in a subtle way to buffet the downside. Or if the Atropa ecosystem dumps like hell, then maybe that's going to pump that side, the pump.tires ecosystem. And what does that mean? It just means that the liquidity, the opportunities can flow, because the people that dominate these charts, again, it's not going to be the same people. It's not like if you, oh boy, I mean, I don't want to imagine how many millions the Don has, for example. People like the Don. He doesn't need to take out all his tokens at the end of this bull market. Maybe he will. Maybe that's his strategy. And if he does, well, it's probably not going to be good for the Atropa ecosystem. But he might also go, you know what? I see what's going on here. I don't need to take out millions and millions and millions of dollars. I only need to take out like, a few $1,000,000. And I'm just going to leave the rest of my liquidity in the system and let it do its thing. Or I'm going to put all these tokens in liquidity and just lock it into the system and raise up the TVL. So when I really, like, this again is just this is how I'm seeing the Atropa ecosystem. I don't have the like the math to say, oh yeah, I'll show you the calculation here that this is what it's actually doing. Like, this is the story that's forming in my mind about what's actually happening. It's a financial system that can be like a self-balancing financial system. That's this idea that I'm seeing emerge. That's why, like, all the FUD and he dumps it and he does this, I'm not interested in any of that. I sympathize with people that get hurt by it. I truly, truly sympathize with you, but you have to take responsibility for yourself. This is the Genesis mindset. If you're going to be a victim, then you're always going to lose in life. I spent 30 years of my life being a victim, and I can tell you now, it didn't get me even one foot further than where I was yesterday. I was always stuck forever in that same place until I took responsibility for my mind and took responsibility for my actions and took responsibility for my life. Then I was just stagnant. Even though I was achieving things, like I didn't feel like I was really getting anywhere in life. Now I feel like I'm really getting somewhere because I'm taking responsibility. So if you're losing because of that, you're the one that didn't do the research. That's why I'm really trying to help people to learn how to navigate the Atropa ecosystem. I don't want to tell you the contract addresses. I want you to figure it out for yourself. Because if you're being helpless and wanting contract addresses, then you're just going to get hurt by this system. And then you're going to be the person that turns around and says, oh, Maria dumped on me. But you didn't do the research. You're the type of person that just gets a contract address, buys the newest launch without seeing what it was all about, and then you lose money. I don't want you to lose money. You're going to get hurt by this ecosystem because it's not that kind of ecosystem. This is what I'm seeing. So this was a brilliant post. So what if the end game, and I'll put this I'll put that in the chat there so you guys can have a read of that. So again, I want to read this one more time. What if the end game of the Atropa combined with the other associated projects is that all of those projects combined, including all of the cryptos that are part of those projects, contribute towards a system that balances or self-stabilizes the prices of the cryptos within their system? Going back to the Treasury bill and the Fed. Going back to the Treasury bill and the Fed. So go back to some of my videos the other day. So the Treasury bill to the Fed. When the price gets above this 1-to-1, it self-balances. It self-balances. And even now, there is like a self-balancing thing, but I still don't think people really truly realize what's actually going on here, which is why I don't think enough people are buying Treasury bill, because I don't even think enough people are looking into the other tokens either. So wherever, let's just put this 1-to-1. So let's thicken that up a little bit as well. It's self-balancing in the way that, for a start, it incentivizes you to want to be here. It incentivizes you to want this ratio. But if it's above here, it's self-balancing because you can just burn it. You can burn your Treasury bill to mint Fed, and then you sell your Fed down, and then you're going to end up with more Treasury bill than what you had up here, plus some Fed. So it's like, why wouldn't you do that? So those are the kinds of things. But then when you have a whole ecosystem that's behind it, this kind of balance sheet concept. So all of those tokens, I don't know what chat I had up in my Telegram, RIP. Oh man, this is the thing about doing live streams as well sometimes. I don't really know what chat I had. I'm just going to double check because I want to bring up the Atropa. Here we go. When you have this kind of balance sheet system that's going on here. So, yeah, like basically starting, well, there's Hex, HotX, then all these, so the Atropa Dev, then he started to do these where you'll burn Treasury bill. So yeah, he can mint the hell out of Treasury bill, but you can also burn it. So, but is anyone doing anything with these? I don't think anyone's doing anything with these, which is a shame. Like you could be like the owner of this, and you can make this like your stable coin. If you have enough power in there and Treasury bill moves, and then it moves your liquidity pool, like your ratio with it, then, I mean, if something like this happens with Treasury bill, where, the Fed, or where there's like a massive dump in Treasury bill, then it's going to be the same in all of the other ones. So you have things like this, and then you have all the tokens that were connected to it. So, where was it? Where did it start? What? Maybe, have I just gone too far? How did that happen? All these ones where it's like now too far again. So we had the gold standard there, Mufti, Ministry. So they're all burning 1-to-1 with Treasury bill. These ones here. No, not that one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. What? What? Here we go. Yeah. So this is 1-to-1 with Fed. This is 1-to-1 with FDIC. This is 1-to-1 with Dysnomia Federal Money. Tellers is 1-to-1 with Parade. SSA is 1-to-1 with Job. Job is 1-to-1 with Tellers. So there's this 1-to-1, 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 1-to-1. So I don't really know how that works, obviously, except for the fact that you can mint the tokens. But then when I see a comment like this as like a self-balancing system, and then we have a treasury bill, we have a Federal Reserve, we have an FDIC, we have a gold standard. There's more to this. There's more to this than meets the eye. That's all I'm saying. That's why it's like, that's why St. Wolf's video was so damn good. Go watch the Atropa is the Wall Street of crypto. Go watch that. It's so damn good. That's why this is like, again, when people are like, oh, PTGC and Atropa, they're not the same. They're not the same. Liquidity bonded tokens, Hart's Law is not what Atropa is. That's part of Atropa, but it's much more than that. It's much more than that from what I can see. Maybe I'm overinflating it. Maybe I'm overestimating it. Maybe it isn't some beautiful financial system that's emerging. Maybe it isn't that. Maybe it's not. Maybe I'm completely wrong. Maybe that's just the tokens and I've got it all wrong and it's just all crazy. Maybe it is. I don't know. I could be completely 100% wrong, but it looks to be like this kind of a setup, which to me is very, very interesting. So there's a theory which I wanted to present, which I really, really like, showing some kind of, at least showing some evidence there, showing some evidence. So I'm not just, oh, look at this theory. There's actually things there. There's people talking about it. They're also seeing it. We're all kind of seeing it in all our little parts in our brains, and all these pieces are coming together. So now this one, so some Pulsechain law. So this is very cool. So actually, before I get into the Pulsechain law, smash the like. Loving the comments. Thank you very much. I'm going to go through some of these comments. Oh, nice. Thanks, Matt. Smash the likes. Otherwise, you'll be watching red candles all week. So Teddy pump most, but it isn't PTG pumping the most. Yeah, it is. It probably is. PTGC probably is. PTGC is. I said Teddy Bear is a premier meme coin. I don't own any PTGC, but I would have to say probably PTGC is going to be the premier meme coin in terms of price performance. I don't think it can be beat because it's been specifically designed to pump. So Stephen, you and Sommy have been applying so much intellectual technical analysis. I'm so thankful for helping me grasp the whole concept of Pulsechain and the L2 built on it. My pleasure, brother. I can't take any credit. I appreciate that comment, but all that I'm talking about, I've learned from others. I feel like I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, but I really do appreciate that. But just to clarify this comment, so the L2 built on it. So L2s are like, you've got Ethereum, which is a layer 1. Pulsechain is a layer 1. Then layer 2s is like a base chain and Arbitrum. So they're basically like, I don't really know the full intricacies of a layer 2, but yeah, layer 2, it's, there isn't layer 2s with Pulsechain. But having said that, the Atropa ecosystem that's being built on Pulsechain is this whole like layer of something. It is a layer of something. Maybe that is the way that a layer 2 should be done. Wouldn't that be really, really interesting? So obviously isn't that really, really interesting? So yeah, there you go. So this is why it's cool to really interact with everyone, because ideas start to emerge. So what's Maria's playlist? So reach at heart. This is going to be the law. We're going to get into this just in a second. So don't be a maxi. Don't marry your coins. Be open-minded. I think B-Root's been right all along. B-Roots has been right about pretty much everything. Pretty much everything. If you're not following B-Roots, you're missing out, guys. If you're not following B-Roots, I'm a subscriber to B-Roots, and the fee just went up. But you know what? It makes it an interesting dynamic, because I didn't want the fee to go up because I'm a volunteer and I don't really want to be selling my crypto, and the money that I get doesn't really it's a lot of my money. It's a lot of my money, put it that way, for the month. So it does hurt. But whatever, it makes me value it more as well. So now when I'm listening to his subscriber calls, I'm taking notes now. Whereas before I'd listen kind of passively and I'm like, yeah, this is epic, but I wouldn't really be taking notes. So now the value's tripled. And so now it's like, okay, I really want to get the value out of this, because he's not going to be around forever. He might not be around forever. I want to emulate his mind. Like he's just so he's very 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 clever. You know, like don't get fooled by don't get fooled by the persona that he presents online. He's a very very intelligent human being. So I got so much respect for the Moon King. So what's going on? Live, love, laugh. Times of glory ahead. Buckle up and relax. Absolutely. And this was the message that I was trying to put out yesterday. Even though Atropa was dumping, pDAI was dumping the other day, for me, it was like, okay, I'm seeing this relationship. It's going to come back into the system. And now it's confirmed that it's come back into the system. So I'm very confident because our boys and our girls now are basically dominating those two systems, or at least have big enough slices of the pie where we're going to be safe either way. So what's going on, TS Pedro? Good morning, Mark. What's going on, brother? BitJoin Studios. Tom Gillespie would be keen, I reckon. Tom Gillespie, the Aussie Kiwi. Good morning, Andrew. What's going on, Mr. Rock Jockey? Check out Teddy Top Whales. They never sell. Number one. The teddy bear top whales don't sell. Nice. And you know, look, again, there's so many opportunities. Like you could I'm just presenting a few of these opportunities. I'm continuously recreating all my multi-charts. It starts fresh all the time, but if I copy the Teddy address, just for example, teddy bear. Teddy bear, Pulsechain, pDAI, Wrap Bitcoin, Atropa, Treasury bill, Hex, decent liquidity. You could ratio any number of these if you wanted to, if you really like these. Look, Teddy and most. So look at how Teddy Baby X, Teddy down, like thick liquidity, like a few thousand in these. Now they're getting a little bit thinner. So yeah, you could look through any number of these and find some interesting swaps to go through, especially if you're sitting in plus. It's like, I don't know, like if you enjoy it, just do it. That's my, like, I don't, Richard Hart's whole like don't trade, don't leverage trade. I never vibed with it. I never vibed with it because I enjoy trading. I don't want to sit at the computer all day because when I do, I can see how much it absolutely screws with my being. Like it does. Like if you're absorbing all of that, it messes with your mind. It doesn't matter. Like I can meditate, but then I'll start to just get too distracted by charts. But I know when I meditate and keep my mind clear, I'll do it much better than when I'm just staring at charts and not taking care of my mind. That's very clear to me. But I never vibe with that message. And even when I started this channel, I didn't promote it, but I was like open to it because it's something that I enjoyed. So what? And it's really cool again to see Richard Hart now with the pump.tires. And I mean, this is all trading, is it not? So he talks about ladies leverage and liquor. I like all three of those things, Dickie. I'm sorry to say. Last time Richard Hart staked Hex, it went nuts. Exactly. The whole point is to lower inflation, same as Bitcoin halving. Exactly. So lowering inflation lowers the sell pressure because that means Hex yield gets reduced to everybody else, which means less sell pressure. I bet the copies of staked ETH will moon the most. It's going to be wild. So like Peace Death, I think, is one of them, for example. EST pool, Hex, pDAI. The best pool is Hex pDAI. Oh. For liquidity providing? I wouldn't mind checking that out, actually. Let's just let's have a look at that. I'll be very curious to see what that is. The Hex pDAI. Do you mean P-Hex or pDAI? Sorry, E-Hex. The Don. So what do we got? Hex. Probably, well, let's have a look. So Hex. And then DAI. And then also let's have a look at maybe I wonder if it was EHEX and die. So I'll be very curious to see if that was one. Oh, I tell you what. They're done again. Just dropping alpha bombs. Dropping alpha bombs. I reckon it is going to be PHEX. Because we've seen that PHEX and pDAI have been 1-to-1. Or there's been like a concerted effort to keep them 1-to-1. So that as a liquidity providing position, if you're afraid of... Oh, okay. I mean, the liquidity, I think I have shown this in the past. So 44K liquidity. So that means opportunity. What else? We'll have a look here. 44K. Uh, 30%. Not too bad. Not too bad. But it's safe as well, right? So this one's even smaller. So yeah, it's a nice safe one because of the ratio, because there seems to be a concerted effort to keep it at 1-to-1. So yeah, if you're getting 30% and it's 1-to-1, that's not bad at all, really. That's not bad at all. And because there seems to be a concerted effort to keep it 1-to-1, or at least there has been for quite some time, then it might be I mean, yeah, look at this. Well, I mean, again, it's gone back to 1-to-1. Wow, 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 wow. I mean, holy shit. So pDAI obviously had that little run. Now it's gone back to the 1-to-1. So yeah, wow. It's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious that it's some sort of concerted effort. So if you're looking at all this volume that's happening to keep it at 1-to-1, that could be a really good liquidity providing. Now let's get G Baby to continue with the green candles. Yeah, I mean, look, this is the thing that you boys have to do. So Notorious SOG, if you want G Baby to pump, we got to start doing stuff for it. It's really that simple. I mean, that's like you look at Teddy Bear, that didn't come easily. That's like Moon King shilling the crap out of it, going on big channels and talking about it, people making websites for it, marketing all over Twitter. It's got to be the same with G Baby. This is the game. Stylo, what's going on? Stylo, Stable Richard, $1 is 50% to bonding buds. What kind of buds are we talking about there, Stylo? This is a PG channel. Nice. So I did see your tweet about that actually. You had people dumping on you on that one. So the dogs. Diaffection is another one. What's going on, Stylo? Yeah, so you boys can check this out. So Stylo's making his own cabal. So you want to swim with the groups. Like swimming with the groups is the best way to do it. That's also why I'm liking the Moon King stuff, because you swim with the group. So you have safety in the numbers. If you're trying to pick all these things by yourself, it's too hard. At least if you're kind of going together, yeah, you're also kind of competing against each other to get those gains. And you might not get like all the gains, because by the time you buy it, other people have bought a lot before you. So then you might only get like a 2x, but they're going to get a 10x. But hey, it's still like kind of a certainty in a way. But then, yeah, it's just good when you've got people that are working together. That's just how it is. It's like it's PvP. You gotta find a group and go with them. So I hope G Baby is meant to be bought, or else it sucked me in big time. I mean, look, yeah, we have to just see what's gonna happen with G Baby. That the Guat. I haven't checked in on G Baby for a while actually. I'll just be very curious to see what's going on. So as this is coming up as well, let's bring up dump. I was supposed to go into the law. What are we doing? Dump tires? No, damn it! I'm confusing myself now because of my loose trolling. So I just want to have a look at stylos here. So what do we got? So Stable Richard, $1. Is this the meme coin? Is this the true Richard Hart $1 token that you look left and look right, but you actually were supposed to look left? What happened there? Let's have a look. So my little poopy computer. So if I just press back and it took me to bloody, shouldn't do that. All right, so we want to look up stable Richard, $1. Stable Richard one. Oh, I'll get rid of the $1. Stable Richard. So this is obviously, what else have you launched there? DKT, P Turbo, Sigma, $1. Bonding curve progress, 55%. King of the Hill progress, 68%. It's not looking too bad. Not looking too bad. 1 minute chart, 1 hour chart. That's not looking too bad. That's not looking too bad. So because I've never launched anything on here, do you determine the supply that you put? I'm pretty sure you get to determine the supply. And how do I find out? Total coins burned. Oh, $100. Yeah, so this is not a 1 billion supply, obviously, because of the fact that it's 2 cents. So it's outpacing. It's outpacing them all. Sorry, no, that's 21 cents. It's 21 cents. So the race to the dollar, Stable Richard. Stable Richard is winning the race. Don't fade the stylo. All right. G baby, that the Guat. Ooh wee. Yeah, look, fam, that's the game. That's the game. So the opportunity was there, and I mean, I showed how you could pump it with your tokens, but this is the thing. This is the thing. Like, it's there the way to do it. I was showing you how to do it with the Lao tokens, but people don't want to do that stuff. They like, we just want to buy and then hope it pumps. But we actually have to do the work, whether that comes through marketing and networking, or if it comes through, like, we can pump it ourselves with our own bags, with the Laos. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's a pretty big. Well, there you go. I mean, it's liquid. This is a clear sign. I mean, it can't be any more obvious. So it's all just bonded to the Atropa ecosystem anyway. So even if there's no buyers, I mean, look at this. This is exactly what's happened with pDAI. 1, 2, 3 down, 1, 2 up. It's exactly the same thing. So if you believe in the Atropa ecosystem, then for me, it's like, it's just going to go up with the rest of the Atropa ecosystem. So I wouldn't be too concerned. So Krieger for Christus, and not a fan of Stala there. I've never seen you in here though, Krieger. Nice to meet you, man. What's going on, Papa Shred? Thankfully, I sold all my most yesterday and swapped it for Bear. Good job, Nine. Very good job. Little Mop, thanks, brother. Papa Shred, you're worth so much more than this, but I'm poor. Someday I'll repay you for your epic efforts, dude, and take all the credit you get. You deserve it. Papa Shred, that's beautiful, man. I appreciate that. You know, it means a lot to me to hear these kinds of comments. Honestly speaking, I am very I self-reflect a lot, and I'm very critical on myself. It's one of my habits. So even when I was watching my old videos and seeing the things, I'm like, man, am I still serving the community in the right way? Am I doing things wrong? And so it was a point of reflection today as well. So I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much for that. That's really sweet. So all right, let's have a look at this law now. So this TSFI stuff, because I haven't actually read this tweet, but I saw it pop up. I like to read it with you guys. So Daily Pulse Core Law number 1, sponsored by CoreCoin. Atropa Mysteries, the hilarious truth behind TSFI. You ever think TSFI meant T-Share Finance? Well, grab your tinfoil hats, because I'm about to blow your mind. Our mysterious dev, Maria Rahel, which is Jimbo, left us a breadcrumb trail that would make Hansel and Gretel jealous. In the early days of Maria's IRC chat, the only place that you could communicate with Maria, he mentioned everything we needed to know about the meanings of the tokens can be found in this playlist. Tucked away in Maria's YouTube playlist between IRC chat whispers and crypto memes lies the truth. Video number 26 reveals TSFI's true meaning. Total stuffed, fluffed island. So TSFI. I'm not making this up, I swear. You'll have a good laugh when you see what these videos are about. You'll also notice most of the creators' videos are titled TSFI. It turns out our crypto mastermind was quite the eclectic creator, sprinkling personal Easter eggs throughout the ecosystem. From the K-pop token, because Maria was secretly jamming K-pop in between coding sessions, to now, and I love this, by the way, I loved it, all the K-pop honeys, to now having 293 tokens in the Atropa ecosystem, each having its own historical or quirky origin story. TSFI being one of the top tokens as its liquidity web stretches far throughout the Atropa and Pulsechain ecosystem. And don't forget, TSFI is designed the same way as Down. So it's meant to be the profit taking for his team. So the people that were contributing to the Atropa ecosystem in the early days. Just before I continue, think back again to this tweet. What if the end game of the Atropa combined with the other associated projects is that all these projects combined, including all of the tokens that are part of these projects, contribute towards a system that balances or self-stabilizes the prices of the cryptos? When you think about the total global liquidity, yeah, we have these black swan events, but it'll go into risk off and risk on. So we have bear markets in crypto where everything is green, bull market, then everything goes red. Maybe Maria's creating something where there's opportunities that are going to emerge in the bear market, because obviously this is a bit of a side distraction, but obviously at the minute with down and Atropa, and down is his profit taking. Down is his profit taking. So really think about what this means. Really think about this ratio. So at the moment, anytime that Atropa is pumping, this is dumping. So then Atropa dumped and then down pumped. Now, basically, it's just been essentially continuous pumps for Atropa. So I'm expecting, oh boy, I mean, I'm expecting it to go all the way down. And by the end of the bull market, it's almost like, yeah, Maria is going to lock the liquidity in the system. That's the game. That's the game. And like, I believe that he's probably going to do that. He's going to lock the liquidity in the system, and he's going to buy the crap out of down. So he's going to have all this Atropa and then just pump the shit out of down and then just swap it all into down. So down, TSFI, they're hedges. They're hedges. So hedge funds, this is what they do. They balance out their portfolios to be like, you have, what's his name, Ray Dalio's all seasons portfolio, where no matter what the economic conditions are, his portfolio is always winning, because he's got these different kinds of assets in there that if this is down, then this is up. If this is down, if that's up rather, if this is down, then this is up. But when that is down, then this other thing is up. I think that something like that is happening within the Atropa ecosystem. I think that there is some kind of self-stabilizing thing. I think that there is going to be some kind of potential here that the bear market within the Atropa ecosystem on Pulsechain might not be as savage as the rest of the bear market. That doesn't mean that if you just hold on, I think then if you just hold on to like Atropa and Teddy Bear, I think maybe you'll get wrecked. You're going to lose like 90%. You're going to round trip. But I think there will be opportunities if you're watching the liquidity flows. And so even though like those tokens will dump, maybe like I said, down will pump, TSFI will pump. And those are the things where you want to take your profits into in the bear market. And then all that liquidity is just going to go from here into here. And then as we get to the bottom of there, then it's going to start to swing back into here. And then once the liquidity is locked in the system, then maybe, just maybe, we enter into our own cycle. So this is why it's like the stronger the Atropa ecosystem liquidity gets, the better. Though the community ran with T-Chef Finance, which, let's be honest, sounds more professional than stuff fluffy anything, Maria, being the OG hex whale that they are, probably just sits back and chuckles at our assumptions. You want to go down this rabbit hole yourself? Check out Maria's legendary 1,800 plus video playlist here. Follow your daily dose of Pulse Law secrets that'll make your crypto friends say, what? Wait, what? And remember, an apple a day keeps the lettuce hands away. So let's have a look at this now. So they've even made a thing. So I bookmarked this. I'm going to repost this. And actually, I'll put this in the here if you guys want to have a look at this for yourselves. So this is the playlist here, which has then or, and then the upside down R. R. Or R. Law. So maybe this is, so now there's, so yeah, I was going, someone brought this tweet to my attention because they saw my video here. So I was pretty happy with that. So Maria is, saved my video in here. So like one of Zach's videos was in here. So I was like, yay, I made it onto Maria's playlist. So, this is when I went back and watched this and I was like, oh man, maybe I need to go back to this and just kind of like check it out. So yeah, some of that stuff is, yeah, I'm going to go back and do that. But let's just for funsies have a look at TSFI. So what did they say? It was number 26. Teddy Bear, you gave me, had a webcam in it, The Big Bang Theory. So somehow all of these had something to do with the token. So PWA, Pirates with Attitude, Korea Society in Atlanta. And so it starts like the meditation method that I do originated in Korea. It originated in Korea. Like my life revolves around Korea. I love Korea. And somehow I've stumbled my way into the Atropa ecosystem. I'm going to show Maria the meditation method that I do one day. That's my life mission. That's my life mission. So maybe he's saving the financial system. I'm going to save his life. Okay, so where was it? Number 26. Here we go. Brawl off the wall. Total stuff fluff island. So yeah, you can see here like it's kind of crazy. And as a matter of fact, let's actually, I need to share this or make sure that I'm going to stop share. I need to share it with the sound. Just give me 1 second. Entire screen with sound. I should just do that by default from now on. Let's have a look at this. Just so you guys can get an idea of what this craziness is all about. As that loads up. I'm not selling, bro. I get my 300x to 1000x. I don't care. I got millions, billions, and for very few unknown or OG meme tokens, 1 trillion. I'm not selling my billions or Teddy until it reaches 4 zeros. Hey, man, power to you. Make a plan and stick with it, bro. Do you think Teddy, pDAI, etc. will start going high again? Like roughly how high do you think they could reach? Billions of market cap? Just an estimate? 9? Yeah, I do. I do believe Teddy Bear can reach billions. I do believe Teddy Bear can reach billions. I do believe pDAI can get to $1. And so if pDAI gets to $1, then the market cap has to be 20 billion. But again, the 20, well, the 20 billion doesn't mean that it has to have 20 billion in liquidity. It doesn't, I mean, it does have to have, well, it is going to have 20 billion in liquidity, but it doesn't have to have 20 billion in real liquidity. Like you look at the Atropa ecosystem where everything is like divided against each other to create this whole web of fake liquidity. But again, going back to this concept here of some self-stabilizing system, and even if the liquidity is not real liquidity, if there ends up being like a big dump over here, but then this balances it out
Laura
over
Babcock,
here.
Commentator, is joining me now. She's the president of Power Group Communications. She often weighs in on political stories. Your reaction, Laura, when you heard this news about 2 hours ago?
Why the hell?
I was shocked. And while some people are out there saying that, oh, maybe people thought this might be happening in Ottawa.
Why are we listening to Justin Trudeau, CTV News? Get the hell off my screen. What the unless I clicked on the wrong thing. I clicked on the wrong thing. Computer, curse you. Curse you. Curse you, CPU. Dell XPS. Curse you. So slow, so slow. 26. Now we're gonna have to wait for that whole bloody. I thought I pressed 26 before. PTGC and UFO are not going down, and when it does, I get compensation. I wouldn't be able to sleep if I dumped for pennies. Do you know what? It did it again. PTGC, I don't. Everything comes down, bro. Everything's going to come down, and this is why This is what's going to separate PTGC from the Atropa ecosystem, in my opinion. Even in a bear market, when everything's dumping, being a liquidity provider in PTGC is going to win. But if the value of all those liquidity pools are getting absolutely destroyed, then PTGC is also going to get absolutely destroyed. At the minute, yeah, everything's going up and it gets bonded with tokens that are going up, but there is going to be a bear market where everything's going down. So why is it doing this? Why does it hate me so much? What is going on? That's not to FUD PTGC, but I don't believe, I put it that way. I don't believe it doesn't have enough pieces of the puzzle like the Atropa ecosystem to prevent it from going into a bear market. And neither might the Atropa ecosystem, by the way. I'm only hypothesizing that the Atropa ecosystem might sidestep a bear market because of like a hedge. And even Gold Standard now, Gold Standard, which was one of those tokens. What if Gold Standard ends up being a token that gets pumped? You know, Gold Standard is the risk off token. So now we're in risk on, we're in bull market. What if Gold Standard becomes like the store of value for the tokens? You know, you've got all these stable coins. Like there's shit going on, man. There's shit going on, and I can't explain it all, but there's a lot more to this beauty that's being created. Oh, I'm gonna have to put the sound on again. So let's have a listen to this. Brawl off the wall. So this is TSFI. Oh man, I had to. How do I? Because it's going to be. Oh, here we go.
For now, I was going to the merge. Yes, and that's why I'm taking.
I won't watch it all. Let's just watch it for a little bit. See what it's all about.
We'll roll into the stop, fill, and challenges. For now, I was going to the merge. Yes, and that's why I'm taking more control over the team. We need someone who's strong, someone who's got a big shell, someone who's not Koopa, because clearly he's too scared. Hey, does anyone feel that? Holy Kirby, did you just eat Squirtle? Wow, that must have really sucked. Ugh. You mean like your mom? Because I'm trying to take control of this team, and here you guys are being stupid. You know what? I'm leaving. You know, Kirby, that's pretty cool. Yeah, you gotta show it to me. If I could do that, I'd win all the eating competitions. That doesn't really help. I mean, like, how'd you do it? No time to explain that now, Kirby, because it's challenge time. Were you just waiting there to say that? Yes, I was. Now, let's get moving to the Stuff Bluff Island wall. All right, contestants, this is the Stuff Bluff Island wall. We use this wall for participating in challenges, or specifically for my newest challenge, King of the Hill, or as it's better known as, King of the Thrill. You'll be sitting atop this giant wall and trying to stay on top the longest. The one who stays on top of the wall the longest wins it for their team. Any questions? No? Well, alrighty then. On your marks, get set. Seems pretty straightforward. I mean, all we gotta do is knock people off the wall. Yeah. Ow. Oh, watch out. Hey, Kirby, you want to help each other out?
I've always wanted to do this.
Oh, hey, what are you doing, a princess? Bowser's right there.
And this is for not eating my cakes.
Wait.
But all in all, it's just friendly competition.
Oh, okay. For a second, I thought you were angry. It's Bowser. All right. Now,
Away!
Shaman, you do know that Deity was on our team, right?
Doesn't matter. I want to make sure everyone's up this wall except me.
Well, easy. You better watch out. And just like that, folks, King Deity and Swine Up are out of the challenge. Come.
It's pretty random, right? So there's a whole playlist of, I mean, this is just one of the videos, but this is what the Atropa ecosystem is. So if Maria told us, I don't think I was here in those days. I was back reading. Everything we needed to know about the meanings of those tokens can be found in this playlist. So can you derive a meaning of TSFI from this video in this playlist? No, I don't know about you guys, but I certainly can't. And look at this. There's like, 20 minutes. I mean, yeah, this was what learning the Atropa ecosystem was all about. Trying to understand anything in these, which, yeah, they're like, it was just all babble and nonsense for the most part. The only good things were the K-pop songs with the honeys, with the cute Korean honeys. So like this, Treasure. Da-da-da. Anyway, I've put that tweet there for you guys. So better to do LP in V1 or V2? Depends what you want. V1 is more for the chain because it just burns Pulsex. V2, you're getting the yield. So I always just do V2. If you're creating a liquidity web, then V1 and V2 can be beneficial because it's like a frictioning point between your pools. So if you have your own token, then creating like a V1 with that token and a V2 with that token is beneficial. I'm just grabbing a small amount of tokens from Dysnomia because of the vitality, but I'm piling up on some of Sunny Reward tokens. I want it all at this point, and I'm willing to wait 2 years. Yeah, there you go. Then you've got all of Sunny's ecosystems as well. So what's going on, DGen Hexagon? Stephen, with an ideal outcome, what's a major personal goal you'd like to accomplish with some of your profit? So it's very simple for me. My goal is very simple. It's one of the things that I've mentioned on this channel many times. I want to design and build meditation centers. So even at the moment, I had someone who was meditating, but it's a house that's been converted into a meditation center. So a beautiful house. It's a beautiful house, but it's a house. So it's like a Queenslander house. So it's made out of timber and windows, and things don't fit together properly. So there's a road with noises and cars, and people who come to meditate, they get distracted by that noise. So I want to be able to design and build meditation centers that are purpose built for the sake of meditation. It should be a place where you can come to have the most comfort in your mind, but the meditation method itself, or the purpose of meditating, is to become enlightened, and becoming enlightened equals living eternally, which is the reason and purpose why we live. And then also it equals world peace, because when you discover that, I'm one with everything, everyone is me, then there's no war, no fighting, no criminals, no boundaries, no nothing. There's no separation. So it's a big goal. It's a big goal that I'm trying to piece down into my contribution to that goal, which is designing and building meditation centers. So as an architect, we bought this and converted it with just like, couches and chairs, meditation chairs. But because we're a non-profit organization, I actually want to put the money towards that. So in other words, it might be like one meditation center every few years, or maybe one meditation center every bull market. Who knows? Something like this. That's all I want to do with the money. Maybe get myself some new clothes, because all my clothes come from like secondhand shops because I'm a volunteer, so I get all secondhand stuff. So I dress reasonably smart, but this shirt was like $5. I got these shorts here, $5. They're dope shorts. I don't really care. I never used to shop at secondhand stuff, but that's what I do now. So I'm really trying to live that. What kind of life is that you'd call it? Like a very simple and humble life. So I don't need the material things. So don't go all in on one token. Just grab a considerable amount of 5 to 10 tokens and wait it out. If the price pumps to a 1x or a 2x, then stays stable for 3 to 6 months, you can possibly buy more. That's a nice strategy. G-Baby, I think, is a winner. I do. I mean, I think, you have to think about what happens when this starts going parabolic. At the moment, things are going steadily rising. But yeah, okay, G-Baby right now, look at how closely bonded it is to the Atropa ecosystem. If pDAI goes parabolic, then all of this is going parabolic. You have to really think about that. That's why as well, like pDAI pegging to $1 tomorrow means that this is suddenly going to shoot up. This will go up to like, it'll pump like 60, you'll get ridiculous wicks all across the chain. And what's that going to mean? That's going to mean there's just going to be Jeet City everywhere. And so it's unwise. And if one of the purposes is to create this self-balancing system, there's nothing self-balancing about pegging it tomorrow. There's nothing self-balancing about there. Sustainably, organically getting it there can create the self-balancing, building out all the pieces of the puzzle, building out all the parts of the system that can get it there. Just pegging it tomorrow, I don't buy that narrative, nor do I want it to happen, because it doesn't make sense in my mind. So thanks, brother. Thanks, Matt. You do deserve credit, Steve. I also think it is good to be critical of oneself. It means you're always striving for perfection or just a tube. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, but there is being a perfectionist is also, and being overly critical is a burden as well. It's like there's a positive and a negative to all these like mind traits. If you eat too much of that mind, if you consume too much of that mind, it's bad. It becomes a burden. Like, I'm like a curious person. Okay, that's a good quality, to be curious and open-minded. But then if you're like questioning everything, it can just be annoying to be around people like that, right? Because it's like, well, there's too much curiosity. Just accept this thing for what it is. You don't need to ask these questions about everything. But we become attached to that way of being because we don't know how to let go of that way of being, and we identify with those things. So my pleasure, Stylo. People either love me or hate me, and that's okay. I'm a pretty divisive person. You are a divisive person. All of this is a game, and I'm just here to play. Good stuff, man. And I really do believe that there's enough food on the table for all of us on Pulsechain. That's the way I see it. It is PvP in the end. Much to my dismay, but it's a reality that I have to face. I mean, I'm coexistence for a reason. I don't want PvP, but it seems like Atropa can create a non-PvP system, but it also inevitably is going to have an element of PvP, because if we talk about Atropa dumping and then down pumping in the bear market, then there's going to be plenty of people that aren't selling their Atropa, and they're just going to round trip on their Atropa because they're not going to be aware of this kind of a ratio. So yeah, I guess I'm trying to spread that awareness. I could be completely wrong as well about this. I could be completely 100% wrong. So thanks, my brother. I'm referring to you finding Atropa career meditation happen chance. Yeah, no happen chance here, man. Like once, yeah, like this, someone made a comment that they're going to stop watching me because I'm now talking about XUSD, and people like this end up they fizzle out, he said. And I was like, okay, that's fair enough. I can't change his mind. He's made his mind up. But no, I don't intend, like, for me, this crypto is just phase one. Crypto's phase one. Doesn't mean I'm going to just suddenly stop talking about crypto, but yeah, crypto's phase one, man. AI metaverse, that's the next step. AI metaverse, documenting like the kind of changes I'm making on the world, or hope to be making on the world. Like I'm even talking like, Trump can become the president because he has a shitload of money. He has a lot of money, and he can come out of that system. He doesn't have to be a puppet in that system because he's got his own money to basically create his own party and do his own thing and pave his own way. Of course, he still has to toe the party line, but if you really want to make big changes in the world, you need money. It's just that simple. And I think Australian politics stinks. I think we're like, okay, bipartisan, but we're just like gutless and piss weak. We innovate on nothing. We bend over. We get bummed by like every country in the world. Like, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being gutless and weak and spineless as a country, as a nation. So we should be doing better. We shouldn't be a nation that's like, oh, stop the boats. We have enough here in Australia with enough land for many, many people. And we have a beautiful, prosperous country. But if we actually develop it in a way that allows for those people to inflow rather than spending like millions and 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 millions of dollars on concentration camps where every one person that you're stopping in the boat costs like $1 million of taxpayers' money a year. Like that doesn't make sense. That's stupid. That's dumb. Like, why would you do that? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever when you could actually like put that money towards building infrastructure to allow more people to flow into the country. I'm not saying I have all the answers, but I want to be someone who influences those things in the future. So, Starlo, that's the way to do it, my man. You got to install those bidets in your mum's toilet. So that's the way to get the followers, bro. Too many Maria vids making your system slow. Big time. Neon, I haven't seen a better project on Pulsechain yet. PTG, that's a big call. Donald Bondi, PTGC, a very close second. I've heard that as a big narrative call for Neon. Neon's had a massive pullback, so PTGC is just A1A without the massive web. Kind of. A1A is like a more subtle version of PTGC. So, yeah, PTGC just pumps faster and more. That's how I see it. So what's going on? Good afternoon, Diversify. What is this? Autism, yeah. Yeah, we're talking about obviously, yeah, what's up, Kieran McCormack? The orange suits from Gucci, surely. Thrift clothing culture is actually very popular here in the States. Oh, is it? It seems like it's getting bigger here in Australia as well. I mean, there's lots of stuff. Like, people have lots of stuff and they buy stuff. There's like, and if you live in decent areas, rich people just throw out good stuff. Always keeping it humble is the way. Materialistic stuff can get you lost. Ink Maxi, good to see you again here, bro. Nice gems can be found in thrifting for sure. G-Baby and Poppy will go to the moon. I think it's all going to go to the moon, man. If I may, best story I heard from meditation was being able to sleep when a house alarm was going off by being able to focus on the silence between the ringing, being so present. External is tuned out. Damn. Best story I heard from meditation was being able to sleep when a house alarm was going off. Damn. I mean, that's cool. That is cool. Don't get me wrong. That's cool in terms of like an ability to focus, but I've got stories of meditation where if you've ever read the book Conversations with God, they're not real conversations with God. Those are not the real conversations with God. He's just talking to his subconscious mind. That is not a conversation with God. If you want to have real conversations with God, just discard your false mind. Then you'll have real conversations with God. And conversations with God doesn't come from talking to yourself in your mind. It comes from the world communicating with you. It comes from, what should I do next? Should I go left or right? And then a person comes around the corner and says, hey, come this way with me. And I know that sounds like very mundane, but that's God, because the whole universe is God. The thoughts inside of your head has nothing to do with God. So Conversations with God is like this massively popular book, but it's got nothing to do with God. So it's like Windows 95 version of God. It's not even the real God. So it's like like even a lot of stories that I hear about meditation, I'm like, man, the stories I have is just, I'll be sharing more of those in the future. I'll put it that way. When these concepts that I'm talking about become more like settled into the consciousness of the world, right now, like the things that I talk about are so like, even the meditation I do it's not really meditation. When people think of meditation, they'll think of like breathing and music and silence. It's doesn't really have anything to do with those things. So how would you differentiate praying and meditation? Do you keep them separate or the same? Interesting question. I think that they're similar. I think that they're similar, actually. So I believe in praying. I don't necessarily believe in I believe in the concept of prayer. Put it that way. I believe in the concept of prayer, and I'm always trying to pray every single day to God or the universe or whatever you want to call it. So I try not to give it a label, because giving it a label is making it something that it's not. Hey, Stephen, I found an awesome hexagon mirror at a thrift shop. $2. Nice one, Patina. There you go. So Neon, the better PTGC. You know, yeah, I've been seeing, I haven't really looked into Neon. I'm a bit, I don't know, not skeptical. 12 o'clock. Shit, it's midnight. Holy crap. This is the problem when I start so late. Oh, it's an hour and a half. That's why. Okay. Neon. I mean, I know Neon's had like an epic dip. But when I saw the pump tires come out, I thought, oh, that's not good. That's not good timing for Neon. So I do, Sharknado, but I believe that you have to find it now, and I believe that that is the meaning of life. So to live eternally, we have to be reborn as the universe now while we're alive. That's what I believe. And I've had experiences of that, which are more real to me than this conversation we're having right now, even if you were standing in front of me. So yeah, it's like it's a massively difficult thing, because obviously when you read like a religious scripture, yeah, they talk about life after death, and yeah, that's true. But I believe the death that they're talking about is the death of the mind now. That's why Jesus was able to go to heaven, because Jesus truly died while he was alive. He totally surrendered himself to God. He totally surrendered himself to the Father. It doesn't happen after we die. Why should we go there after we die? What, be a piece of shit our whole life, and then, oh, sorry, Jesus, when I'm dead at the gates of heaven, and then in the gates of heaven, like me with my dirty, messy mind, just like judging people, and can you like imagine crypto Twitter in heaven? Like, no thanks. Hell no. That's hell. That would be hell. That's not heaven. So it logically doesn't make sense. So for me, like, yeah, Jesus showed the way. I am the way. I'm the life. And I'm not a Christian, but I just believe in all of those things. But yeah, Jesus showed the way. You die in the mind now while you're alive. That's why he was able to live eternally, because he truly died to God while he was alive. He truly gave himself, not as I will, but as you will. He truly died. Do you believe this life is a test, and then we are yet to start our eternal life? I think life exists to test us. And I think the whole purpose of life is to be reborn and to live forever. That is the meaning of life. If somebody was to ask me what is the meaning of life, I would tell you the meaning of life is to live forever. It's not a complicated thing for me. And that was something that I became enlightened of before I started any meditation, when this false self disappeared and there was only God, and all I could see was mother and father. And that's why, honestly, it's like it was the most real thing. And it's been the biggest cognitive dissonance, bipolar experience of my life, because it was, yeah, like this is what bipolar is actually. This is what people will say bipolar is, where they have these euphoric things. And it could well have been bipolar. But then when I found a meditation method which said exactly the same things as I had the experience of, I was like, wow. And then I started the meditation, and by doing the meditation, I'm experiencing exactly the same things as I experienced before. I can't deny those things. I can't deny them. And when this meditation is like all inclusive and universally applicable, it's very hard to deny my experiences. So Neon. So I know that Neon has had like Neon's had a big dip. So yeah, Neon, sadly, I mean, look. I mean, this is what I saw as well. Neon came at came at the wrong time. So Neon dumped. So Neon did what Atropa did. It dumped. So yeah, who knows? Like Neon could be good. Neon could be good for gains. I mean, shoot, to the top there, it's a 3x, but I don't know enough about it. It seems like I haven't actually watched any of their streams, but I know they got some streams. So love it. Yeah, God is the universe. Ask and you shall receive. God shows up. Then in other people, things, circumstances. Hex, for example, Kieran McCormack. Exactly. And this is why I really love Richard as well. When I heard him talking about his process of coming up with Hex, it was like that. And this has also been my experience with the Atropa ecosystem. This is why no matter what now, there's just been too many coincidences and synchronicities. I'll feel like, am I wrong? Am I shilling something that's bad? And then I'll write about it in my diary like I'm writing to God. And then there'll be something that happens the very next day that's like, no, you're on the right track. Just keep going. There'll just be something that pops up in my life that's like, okay, this is like that's a prayer that was answered like literally the next day. I was never able to do this until my mind was clear because I always doubted it. I never thought, oh, well, there's no God, or why would he listen to me, or whatever. But then if your mind is clean and clear, your energy is clean and clear, and everything's just energy and light, then yeah, of course, God can communicate with you through everything. And I mean, even scientifically speaking, as your energy states change, your vibrational field changes, which is changing the reality around you. Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about these things all the time. It used to be woo-woo. It used to be woo-woo when I watched What the Bleep Going Down the Rabbit Hole like not 20 years ago, like 10, 15 years ago. I'd watch these things. All my friends are going out. I'm at university. I shouldn't say this, but I'm at university and watching these documentaries, and I'm just like, my mind's getting blown wide open by these things, and I'm like, this makes so much sense. And then I have experiences that are like exactly what they talk about there. So I believe in it, but then you're a crackpot because it's nowhere. But now these guys are like, they're on, have they spoken to Tony Robbins? Maybe not, but, like Jay Shetty and Ed Milet, all these big, has he been on Joe Rogan? I'm not too sure, but, they got their message is becoming like more and more mainstream. So that's when you're onto something. And that's what my life's always been like. I'm pretty useless. I don't find myself to be particularly like special at anything. If I compare myself to others, I'm like, I'm not that special. But somehow, some way, by the providence of the universe, I'm always at the forefront of these major trends somehow. So that's why I've really trusted that as well. So, thanks, HexG Unit. The meaning of life is to reproduce. This is an interesting one, Starlo. This is an interesting one. Yep, materially, yes, that's how the human race does live forever. I guess my hypothesis around this is we're in like this moment of harvest with humanity. And so this is why the salvation didn't happen when Jesus was around, because the infrastructure of the planet Earth wasn't set up. There was no internet. So the disciples, they spread the gospel, but basically they're traveling on donkeys and horses to go from state to state where it's just too slow. Then there's the rest of the world that they can't penetrate. Now is that time where that message can really be spread across the world in an instant. And so if we did, like it's also like perfectly set up by the universe to like maximally yield humanity where we're like at this kind of peak. Elon Musk wants to start going into other planets. Great, let's do that. No problem. But we're really at the peak of, we could still continue to keep expanding on Earth, but there's going to be consequences of that as well. So we're really getting close to like a peak of our population. And the world is also like reflecting that too, in the sense of it's just naturally like balancing itself out with countries, like South Korea is a great example. Like they're like rapidly declining in new births to a point where it's like a government crisis, and they're having to like create government incentives to get people to have children. And so this is happening because there's too many people on the planet. And because there's too many people on the planet, read Sapiens. Sapiens is such a good book. So we think that things are getting easier and we're making things better, but all that we end up doing is just like, we're doing these things to give us more time, but we end up spending more time on those things, and it's robbing us of our time. But we're at this point now where now we're going to have like robots and AI, and people are like, oh, what's going to happen? I'm going to lose my job. I have no fear of that whatsoever, because the reason why people are scared of that, I believe, is because they derive the meaning of life through their work. And I don't think that's the meaning of life. I think the meaning of life is to live forever. I believe Jesus is on the earth again already. Bipolar is the market. Exactly. Bipolar is the market. So everyone's bipolar. Bipolar is nothing, man. It's just like, or ma'am, obviously in your case, but bipolar is nothing. It's just like, oh, you go to a doctor and he tells you got bipolar disorder. It's just my levels of happiness is here, and it's just the like, so what? It's not some chemical imbalance. It's just that when I'm really happy, I'm like this because I have these kinds of like happy thoughts. My happiness is like, oh my God, euphoric happiness, because everything is just one and we can all live together forever and the world can be a better place. And all the things that all the prophets were talking about will come true if we just do the work for it. And now is that time. So how can we not be extremely euphoric about this? That's like my happy state when I'm doing that work. When I'm doing this work is all contributing to that. I feel, fix the money, fix the world, fix the consciousness, fix the world. As beautiful as the Atropa ecosystem is, I think we're still gonna have some collapse because the Atropa ecosystem exists within capitalism, and capitalism has reached its limit. So, boy, this is getting deep now, isn't it? So meditation is maybe like focus. Like I want a new car, then that type of car I start noticing all the time. Yeah, that's definitely a quality of meditation. That's definitely a quality of the universe mind. Like it's very true what they talk about. Whatever's in your mind is what you will attract into your life. It's very, very true. It was super weird how Pulsechain came to me. It surely is a gem that came. Ink Maxi, I think a lot of people that have found Pulsechain feel that way because of Richard Hart. That's the key component. The mind, when I talk about mind as well, I'm talking about the being. I'm talking about the Korean version of mind, which is this being. So mind in the West, because everything's so, our medical system is like treat the symptom, not the total. The Eastern medical system is treat the whole like system, and the Western medical system is just treat the area of the problem. So, I've got something that's wrong with my heart. Okay, we'll give you this heart pill. But actually, you've got something wrong with your heart because you're eating McDonald's at 12 o'clock at night every single night. You're not exercising. You don't move your body. You're stressed as hell because you're working from 8 a.m. till 10 p.m. at night. All of these factors which aren't getting equated. And you should fix those things, actually. So the mind is this whole being. And so Richard is operating from a heart center. So he's attracting people who are also like that. And because he's like that, the tweet that he put out where there seems to be higher forces at play, I'm just like, I know that he's on that wavelength. I just know that he's on the wavelength that I'm talking about here. I just know it. I saw it in Hex, the highest of stakes. And that's exactly what he's talking about in that tweet. And so it's attracting like-minded people to this ecosystem, which is why, that to me is the X factor of this ecosystem, the community, the people. And it's because of his mind, which is not just his thinking. He's a genius, but he's also very sincere. He's also genuinely wants to help people. Those are the people that really really do good for the world. So Joe D is great. He's one of the GOATs. God can't be life and death at the same time. To exist and not to exist isn't impossible. Papa Shred, I don't believe our creator can send us into nothing because it doesn't exist. If everything is God, everything lives on. This is the contradiction. So all contradictions unite at God, because God is the Alpha and the Omega. God is the mother and the father. God is the body and the mind. God is the creator and the destroyer. So contradictions can coexist. That is what God is. But in time, they cannot. Existence and non-existence cannot. It's like I'm either alive or I'm dead. But from the perspective of God, existence and non-existence are the same thing. But because I live in this world, in this mind world, where I think, I'm Stephen. I was born in 1986. I'm 38 years old, and I'm going to die one day. Because I live in that bubble that I've made, then when I die, because everything is just your mind, so in the same way that we mentioned before with the cars, and I start thinking and I start seeing those cars, everything according to my mind happens. So if I'm living in this mind world and I die in this mind world, then I just die and disappear in that mind world. That's the thing. So it's not like it just vanishes in an instant. You're just in this bubble that you think you're still alive. You'll think you're still alive until the energy will just eventually fizzle out. So that's why we have to actually burst that bubble so that this false self doesn't exist, and then it becomes one with the universe. That's why Jesus said, I and the Father are one. Oh man, there's so many things I want to say about Jesus, but it will really trigger a lot of Christians. But in my heart, I have so much love for Jesus, so much love for Jesus. But I don't take the words maybe in the literal sense. I can yeah, I don't know. I don't want to go down that road. So yeah, this is getting pretty crazy. So it's a hormonal issue. Yeah, with the bipolar, yes, but those hormones are triggered by my mind. So if I'm feeling a lot of depression, it's not just one day I had like depression. So the depression would have gradually occurred, and then as more and more of the depression is occurring, more and more of those chemicals are being released, or those hormones, and then eventually I've got this imbalance, and then we call this like a chemical imbalance. Then we're going to balance it out with drugs. But in actuality, if I just bring my mind back to equanimity, then there is no hormone imbalance. The hormones are a consequence of the mind. But also, having said that, there'll also be like, like people that are born with deficiencies and whatnot, but they can also be fixed. I do believe that they can also be fixed. I've seen miracles through meditation. Joe Dr. Spencer talks about this all the time. Blind people that can see, like, Jesus, they talk about this stuff in the Bible too. I really believe in that stuff. So we care too much about physical body and not the soul within. Both bodies need food, just like our physical. Yeah, exactly. So anyway, when does pDAI peg? Yeah, okay, let's round this up. So when does pDAI peg? Let's end on that. So when does pDAI peg? Yeah, for me, I don't know, man. Honestly speaking, I don't know. I want it to be within this bull market. That would be so glorious if it's within this bull market. If I look at the trajectory, actually, let's have a look. I've never actually I've kind of made guesses based on certain things, but if I say that, because it's going to need a certain amount of like liquidity in the system, but if you can keep creating liquidity in the system out of thin air to get it there, then decentralized me showed this a lot, right? But now we're on the weekly, so I believe, what are we in? So February. So I think like 3 to 6 months. So if we're in February, 3 to 6 months around like Q2, Q3 of 2025. So let's just so let's that'll do 27th of October. That's about 3 to 6 months. Well, no, it's not really. Maybe maybe more than 3 to 6 months. But and then what's our dollar mark? I just want to see like if it looks right on the chart. But of course, you can peg these things in the way that decentralized me is talking about. Yeah, doesn't look outside of the realms of possibility. We're entering into like the parabolic phase of the bull market. It doesn't look crazy to me. It doesn't look crazy to me. So I do believe it's like an organic thing. I do hope that it's within this bull market. I do think it's very possible. But I think it's going to happen at the end of the bull market rather than, or towards the end of the bull market. So yeah, that's just my perspective. pDAI peg is a dream, just a dream. I mean, the P maker makes it a very compelling dream and makes it more of a, I mean, everything starts with a dream, but we've got the code and the math to support the dream. I think it will peg at the end of the bull run to make people rotate into it. Yeah, to lock liquidity into the system. That would be like perfect. That would be just perfect timing. 7 days, puppy. Yeah, I mean, puppy. Who knows, man? Honestly, who knows? But I just think there's too many Jeets. Like I'm seeing shill gates. I mean, look at EHEX, like straight away. we had this big pump, and straight away people G'd it into PHEX. It's like, let the thing run, man. Let it run. Let it do its thing. There's just going to be too many G's. It's just, where was it? EHEX and PX. I don't know where it was. I had it on one of these charts, but compare the pair maybe. Was it here? Yeah, here. Let me look at this. This is people now rotating back into PHEX, and they probably think, oh, I'm so clever. I've got more PHEX now. They're going to get wrecked. They're going to get wrecked. EHEX is going to go parity 1-to-1. The dream is where we all live. Remember, if Richard Hart's ultimate goal is glory, then all outcomes must far exceed everyone's expectations. I mean, already, man. I mean, who was thinking pump tires? That came out of left field. I wasn't thinking that. Was anyone here thinking that? I was not expecting that. I mean, shit. I was talking like, oh, great. pDAI now is on a clean run up. And then what's happened? You know, I'm showing these charts here. Yep, we've broken out. Then we had this black swan event in a way. You know, I was showing this, and we've broken out of this channel, and this is great. We're retesting, and it's going to come up. And it was around about that time as well. It was literally here. This is where I was saying, like, we've got to retest this, and then once it bounces off this, it's go time. And it was, for all intents and purposes, it's like, okay, great, looks like go time. And then pump tires came out, and then the whole thing just dumped. You can't make this shit up. So yeah, who would have expected that? I wouldn't have. So I'm sure he's got more. I'm sure he's got more aces up his sleeve. I'm sure of it. So yeah. Oh, this has gone red again. I wonder if we see any moves here. I mean, these are all green, and now that's red. Interesting. Oh. Interesting. Okay. Larry David, you go. Oh, man, Larry David. We need ETH to wake up to make pDAI achieve success. Who knows when the top of the cycle is? Yeah, who knows, man? Who knows? For me, Bobby Lucas, Somi's uncle, said 3 to 6 months. That's where I align myself. I think by the whole market perspective of how long the bull market will really last, it's supposed to be like maybe not more like 9 months, but I just think there's going to be a lot of front running because each bull market is ending earlier than the previous one. So that's just my belief. So interesting. Let's end on this then. So actually, let's go back to the compare the pair. Interesting, right? Yeah, here we go. Interesting. So down, could it? I don't know. Who knows? But it doesn't matter. Either way, all I'm saying is I have no concerns about the Atropa ecosystem. I just see that whoever's dominating this is also dominating this, and they're on our team. So we're riding on their backs. All right. A few more comments. We've seen a lot of manipulation this cycle. SP, it's weird. We had, or so it's weird. I think you meant to say we have seen a lot. P-Hard, what's going on, brother? pDAI top $1. Can you catch any other top, or will you round trip? Are you talking about me specifically with my bags, Michael? pDAI top $1. Can you catch any other top, or will you round trip? I really need to get clarity on my plan, because what I thought I was going to do has changed so much based on the conditions of Pulsechain. So I'm going to have to actually revisit my plan, because part of my plan might be to, for example, rotate Atropa and Teddy Bear into down and TSFI, or rotate it into pDAI, because for me, market makers know people are greedy. Even with the pump stuff, the pump tire stuff, people would have been thinking it's going to keep going. And everything sold off after just 3 days. This is market makers selling the shit out of it, ruining the party. So I think the end is also going to be exactly the same. So pDAI is going to get to $1 around the end. And then everyone is going to be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to rotate my pDAI into Teddy Bear and PTGC and whatever, like the meme die and all the other things. I'm going to rotate it into Pulsechain, Ink, whatever. They'll rotate it into other stuff, thinking that the bull market's going to keep going for another few months. And then the market makers are going to rug the crap out of all the tokens and put it back into pDAI. And then that's, for me, that's just like, good night, ladies and gentlemen. The system is now set up and we are in, like, we have the peg now because all that liquidity is just going to be locked into the peg, locked into the pDAI. That's what I think. And so for me, I will, if that happens, if we do get to $1 and this P maker thing ends up pulling off, I'm also going to want to chase those gains. I love it too. I love the euphoria. I'm a degen. It's fun. I love it, but I won't be doing it with huge portions of my bag. I'm going to be filtering most of it into like the stable coins, whatever those stable coins are. So if that ends up being pDAI, I'll filter it into pDAI. And then I'll also chase those gains and just slowly cycle it into pDAI, because I know no matter what I say, no matter what others say, people are going to think that this is going to go forever. People are going to think that. They're going to think they're going to get greedy. They're going to see huge signs. Their mind is going to be focused on the next target. Okay, I'm just going to pull out all my thing when I get this next round number. But the show's going to have to end somewhere. So I don't want a round trip. So if pDAI does peg, that's where I'll be putting a lot of my liquidity, a lot, like as much as I possibly can, to be perfectly honest, without being greedy. Just lock it into the system and then just chase those gains with maybe like a third of my bag, and then sweet home California, or in my case, sweet home Sunshine Coast. Most of us will round trip. Hope your plans work, bro. Rooting for you. Same as you, Michael. I hope for you too, man. And I'll share what I'm going to be doing. There's going to be things where I will not be sharing, simply because I'll probably be getting the alpha from the Moon King, and out of respect for the group, I won't be like, I also have to, like, when I'm presenting these videos, sometimes I have to like catch myself from talking, because I'm like, oh, that's something that the Moon King shared. I don't want to, like, reveal his secrets, because it's not from my perspective that, like, oh, I've paid for this, so I want to keep it to myself. I want to share it with you guys. It's out of respect for the Moon King. So same to you, Kieran. Off for a surf. Enjoy, Kieran. Enjoy. It's one thing that I never got into. Too scared of sharks. Appreciate the stream. Thanks a lot, brother. pDAI only needs to repeat its most previous pump to get to its peg. Exactly. It needs a lot of liquidity, but yeah, we're not too far off. Happy to catch you live. Keep doing great videos for the ecosystem. I'll be rewatching. Thank you, sir. Hats off to you too as well. Last comment here. pDAI's parity with Hex is shaken up just a little bit, but currently, but the 1-to-1 peg is about to reclaim itself with pDAI Hex. Yeah, bro. Yeah, I think I had a chart up for that earlier. Here we go. Yeah, it's very close to the 1-to-1. So it got like with, yeah, it's, I'm surprised by this. But then again, not really, because this has basically been the time where pDAI has been dumping. So, all right, fam. Thank you very much for enjoying. Thank you very much for interacting. Almost 500 people watching, so I really appreciate it. Like, share it out. If you guys like this, share it out. I do try and clip these up and reshare some of the alpha in smaller bits for people because I like that. But anyway, I appreciate all the interaction, guys and girls. Take care.